Hello and welcome back. We are diving straight into the deep end today.
We really are.
Because the story we have, it's one of those signals that feels small at first, but when you look closer, it tells you everything.
It really does. So if you're new here, standard rules apply.
Mm-hmm.
We take the noise, strip it down, and give you the signal. This is Daily Pressure Report USA at Pressure Report USA. That's us.
And if you find value in what we do, please just take a second right now, subscribe, like, drop a comment, and share this with someone who needs to hear it.
And this is definitely one to share. We're talking about an absolute icon today.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, I'm curious, because usually it's, tech or manufacturing.
Yeah.
This feels a lot closer to home for people.
It really does. Okay, let's just start with a number. $126 million.
Oh.
That is the amount of money a very famous California company is pouring into concrete and steel right now. But here's the thing.
It's not in California, not a dime of it. And the big question we are looking at today is this. When a brand that is, practically synonymous with California, it's part of the identity.
Right. When they start hedging their bets with a massive project 2,000 miles away, is that just, normal expansion? Or is it a warning flare?
It makes you wonder if the math just doesn't work anymore, even for them. Because if they're looking for a backup plan, what does that mean for everybody else?
Stay with us. We're going to break down what that money is buying.
So this all kicked off with some wild rumors online about InNOut Burger.
Oh, it was everywhere. The speculation was just, it was intense.
Yeah, headlines, social media, everyone saying they were packing up, moving the whole headquarters out of California.
And, that panic kind of makes sense. We've seen other big names leave, Tesla, Oracle, so people just figured, okay, here's the next one.
It fit the pattern we've been seeing.
Exactly, but we need to be really precise here. In July 2025, the CEO, Lindsay Snyder, she actually came out publicly to address it.
She had to put out the fire. She did. And she was very clear. InNOut is not moving its corporate headquarters.
Okay, but let's unpack that denial because, with corporate speak, the devil is always in the details. What did she actually say?
She said the HQ remains in Baldwin Park, California. That's the ancestral home, the heart of the brand. She even said they're closing their Irving, Texas office by 2030 to consolidate back to Baldwin Park.
So on paper, that sounds like they're doubling down on California.
On paper. But I think there's a but coming.
Yeah, there's always a but.
And it's a massive one. While she denied the corporate move, she admitted something really personal. She said that she personally has moved her family.
Where to?
To Tennessee. And she didn't just say, I like the music. She said, and this is a quote, that raising a family in California is hard.
Wow. That is a stunning admission. It's hard.
Yeah.
From the head of a California legacy brand. If it's hard for a billionaire, what does that say for a mid-level manager or shift worker? And it's not just her moving. This is where the business side really kicks in. The company is building a massive facility. They're calling it an Eastern Territory office.
In Franklin, Tennessee.
Exactly. And that's the real story here. InNOut was always the exception. Stayed private, refused to franchise, stayed in California when everyone else left.
Right.
When the exception admits things are hard, it really changes the narrative. It's not just some greedy corporation leaving. It's a family business saying, we need a backup plan.
It's a survival strategy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get away from the feelings and into the hard data.
Yes. We pulled the numbers that matter. We need to strip away the PR and look at the physics of the business.
I love this part. Let's do the math. What's number one?
281 out of 418.
Okay, 281 out of 418. What is that?
That's the number of their locations that are physically in California versus their total.
So what does that really tell us?
It means they're still heavily anchored in the state. They can't just, pack up and leave like a software company.
Right. They've got kitchens, supply chains. This is not a laptop class business.
Their revenue engine is bolted to California ground. They sink or swim with the state unless they build a lifeboat.
Which brings us to the next number, I'm guessing.
Exactly. The next number is the one we started with. $126 million. $126 million.
That's the construction cost for the new facility in Franklin, Tennessee.
And for people trying to understand what that means, you don't spend $126 million on a small satellite office.
No.
That is a permanent, capital-heavy investment. It's a fortress. It's a second center of gravity.
It is not a WeWork space. It is pure CapEx. You only spend that if you expect a return over decades, which leads to the timeline. Next number is 2026.
2026. So soon.
That's the expected opening date.
So this isn't some Vision 2040 plan. This is happening right now. The trucks are pouring cement today. That suggests what? A sense of urgency.
It does. And with that building comes people. The next number is 200.
200 new jobs. That's the number of new jobs expected to be created in the Tennessee region, at least initially.
And what kind of jobs are we talking about here? Not folks running the fryers, I assume.
No, these are the good ones. Corporate support, logistics, management, IT, HR, the high-quality middle-class jobs every single city is fighting to get.
And they're showing up in Franklin, not Baldwin Park. That's economic energy just leaking out of the state.
It's that multiplier effect. Those 200 people are home buyers, taxpayers, restaurant goers.
And California is losing that entire ecosystem. But why? What's the specific thing driving them? That brings us to our next stat, $800,000. $800,000. Don't tell me. California real estate.
You got it. That's the median home price in California.
And this is so crucial. When the CEO says raising a family is hard, this is the number she's talking about.
It is.
Even if you pay your people well and InNOut pays well, if a starter home is almost $1 million, you just can't keep a workforce.
How can you? You try to hire a mid-level manager, you offer a good salary, they look at Zillow and realize they'll be renting for the rest of their lives.
Meanwhile, that same salary in Tennessee buys them a huge house. It's a no-brainer.
And on top of that, the last number, $20.
Ah, the new minimum wage for fast food workers there.
$20 an hour. And look, people need to make a living wage. But from a business perspective, it's not just that one number, is it? It's the compression.
Right. Explain that, because it's not just the entry-level person.
No. If the person at the fryer makes 20, the shift lead needs 25, the manager needs 35, the whole payroll ladder gets pushed up overnight.
It's a huge spike in overhead that just doesn't exist in their other territories.
Yeah.
So you've got the $800 K housing, the $20 wage, and suddenly Tennessee looks like a bargain.
So, okay, that's the numbers. Let's pivot to the why. We've touched on it, but let's lay out the drivers. Driver number one is obviously cost of living and housing.
That's the foundation. If your people can't afford to live near work, you eventually don't have a company.
But driver number two is, well, it's a little more abstract. It's the regulatory environment. And the word that keeps coming up is predictability.
Yeah, let's dig into that, because regulation sounds boring, but in practice, it's about stability.
Yeah.
The sources mention the trauma of the pandemic era in California.
Trauma is a strong word, but I think it fits.
It does. Think back to 2020, 2021. The rules were changing week to week. For a restaurant owner, that's just chaos. You can't plan for chaos.
And then you compare that to Tennessee. No state income tax and a regulatory environment that's seen as much more stable. You know what the rules are going to be next year.
Right. If I'm investing $126 million, I need to know the government isn't going to change the rules of the game on me in 6 months. It's risk management.
And driver three is just raw operational expenses. We talked about wages, but it's also utilities, insurance.
Insurance is huge right now.
Yeah.
I mean, fire insurance, liability. Some businesses are seeing their premiums triple in a year. That eats right into your margin.
Okay, so let me just push back here for a second. Ask the question a listener might be asking. Is this just about money? Is this just greed? Or is there something deeper?
See, that's the easy narrative, right? Oh, the rich CEO wants to be richer. But with InNOut, it doesn't really track with their history. They leave money on the table all the time by not franchising.
That's true.
I think the root cause here is it's survival planning.
Survival planning. Explain what you mean.
Look, a leader has to weigh identity against sustainability. You can love your home state, but if the math says you're going to slowly bleed out over the next 20 years, you have an obligation to the business to build a bunker somewhere else. This isn't greed. It's a hedge against extinction.
That's a pretty sobering way to put it, a redundant nervous system for the company. So if this is survival for them, who gets hit in this scenario?
Well, the first victim is symbolic. It's California's identity. Because InNOut is like a public utility there. It's a cultural asset. If they're feeling the pressure so much they have to build an escape route, the whole California dream narrative takes a body blow.
It signals the dream is becoming impossible, even for the people who built it.
Exactly. It breaks that psychological contract.
But there's a real-world victim here, too, the smaller business owner.
And that's who I really worry about. InNOut has massive margins. They own their real estate. They have a huge cash pile. Now imagine you're a regular family running a small diner.
You face all the same cost hikes.
The same rent, the same $20 wage mandate, the same insurance spikes.
but you do not have $126 million to build a bunker in Tennessee.
Exactly. You're trapped.
Yeah.
InNOut can build a safety valve. The small businesses just get squeezed until they close. And that's the tragedy.
And the local economy, too. We talked about those 200 jobs.
All right, let's double click on that. Those 200 people in Franklin are going to be high earners. They're buying houses, cars, paying taxes. That's economic lifeblood that should have been in Baldwin Park, and now it's in a Nashville suburb. It's a transfer of wealth. Simple as that.
So, looking forward, let's game this out. What comes next? We see, what, 3 potential scenarios?
Yeah, scenario 1 is what I'd call adaptation. This is the official story.
Right, Baldwin Park stays the heart. Tennessee just handles the southeast expansion. The company basically learns to live in 2 worlds.
And that's the best case for California.
Okay.
They stop the bleeding, they keep the HQ, and the growth just happens elsewhere.
Scenario 2 is what you could call the Tesla model.
This is the one to watch. This is where the brain of the company shifts. The decision makers, the strategy, the finance,
Yeah.
they all quietly migrate to the lower cost state.
So the body, the stores, they stay in California.
They have to. But the intellect, the capital, it moves to where it's treated best. So California becomes the factory floor, but Tennessee becomes the boardroom.
And that leads to scenario 3, the slow drift.
The slow drift, yeah.
This is where California just becomes a heritage site. Honored for the past, maybe they keep the original store as a museum, but it's no longer the engine of the future.
The center no longer holds. It doesn't happen with a big press release. It happens with 1,000 small hiring decisions over 10 years. Oh, let's hire the new VP of marketing in Franklin. The talent pool's better. You do that enough times, the HQ is moved without ever being announced.
Right. So if you're listening, you need to watch for the signals, not the press releases.
So what should people watch for first? 2 things. 1, watch for the completion of that Tennessee office in late 2026. If they finish it and then immediately announce a phase 2 expansion, that's your signal. That means the pilot program worked and they're doubling down.
Exactly.
And 2, watch the job postings. If that Eastern Territory office starts hiring for roles that are not just regional support, if you see VP of Finance or IT strategy based in Tennessee,
Right.
then you know the brain is moving. Regional support versus strategic leadership, big difference.
Okay, let's wrap this up. We have covered a lot of ground here.
We really have. It's a complicated picture.
InNOut is not leaving California today. Let's be very clear on that.
Right. No moving trucks at the HQ. The burgers are still flipping. But they are hedging against tomorrow with a massive check. And the CEO admitted the quiet part out loud. Doing business in California is hard. And when an icon says it's hard, everyone else needs to listen. It's like the canary in the coal mine, but the canary is a fast food empire. So we want to hear from you. We have 2 questions for the comments section. First, where are you watching from and what are you seeing locally? Are you seeing for lease signs or are you seeing cranes? And number 2, do you think this business climate gets better or worse in the next 6 to 12 months and why? Is this the bottom or are we just getting started?
We read every comment, so please let us know. And if you found this useful, subscribe to Daily Pressure Report USA and share this deep dive.
It really helps us out.
It does. We'll see you in the next one. Stay focused.